Hey everybody, it's Natalie Harper here with Alair Homes, and I know I do not need to introduce this guy, but I will anyways. Welcome, Paul McGavigan. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. It's a different meeting like this over video conference, but signs of the times, right?
Yeah, definitely. We're each in our own homes right now. We're trying to do our part to reduce, the spread of the virus right now. We're supposed to be at the Home and Garden Show this weekend, but that was canceled. So Paul was going to be presenting on the main stage today, so we thought maybe we would just bring you some of those tools and tips that Paul was going to be speaking about today, and thought we'd just bring that to you in a virtual setting, so many of you can maybe get some great tips while you're at home right now. So Paul was going to be presenting on DIY, what you should do at home and what you shouldn't do at home right now. And Paul, many people are spending more time in their homes right now. So they might be looking to be productive while they're at home. They might be looking to spruce up their house with some DIY home improvement projects. What do you say to those people at home right now who are interested in a little bit of DIY right now?
Well, totally. I'm one of those people. You know, you start spending a lot of time in your house, on a day-to-day, over and over repetitive days kind of thing. You do start to notice things that you need to fix up. Maybe that I personally have some stair nosing that's been just been left by the wayside for several months. So there's a perfect opportunity to kind of do things like that, finish up maybe some projects you've been neglecting, or maybe tackle some new stuff.
So what are kind of some good and safe to do at home DIY projects for people right now? Maybe they're not, professionals like you are or some of your construction partners might be, but what are some good projects for people to tackle, and maybe what are some of the resources that they might need to do that right now?
Yeah, so and it's a really good point, is actually the things that are good to do and things that are safe to do and things that are not safe to do. So this is a really good time to do things like put up maybe some shelving that you've been needing for a while, fix that drywall repair. Some people might be looking to do something maybe a little bit more technical. If you've done any type of home improvements before, maybe switching out some plugs, some outdated plugs, that kind of thing. So there are certain things you can tackle by yourself if you're a handy person, or if you're not, if you're jumping into foraying into it for the first time, then that's great. It's just important to know kind of what you should and what you shouldn't tackle. So small household things like doing some drywall repair, if you have the right tools to do so, those are great to do. Minor electrical things like that, but when you start to get into things like electrical and plumbing and things of that kind of nature, you can kind of open up a can of worms sometimes, especially in older places. So safety is paramount, right? We don't need extra trips to the emergency for things like doing the wrong thing DIY, right? We're kind of in the time where you need to think about that. And so lots of that comes down to even just simple things like wearing the right protective equipment, simple things like, do I need safety glasses for this task? Probably. There's nothing cool or manly about eye injuries. It's kind of like not wearing a visor or a shield or something like that in beer league hockey. It's a lot cooler to go home with both your eyes intact than it is to have a trip to emergency. So I should know, I'm one who's taken pucks to the face multiple times before I learned my lessons. So things like that. So have the right tools for it and wear your protective equipment.
Yeah. So one of the things that, you talked a little bit about, maybe levels of ability. There's different people who have to maybe look themselves really in the mirror right now and go, okay,
Yeah.
what are my capabilities? We all want to we watch HGTV, we all go, hey, I can do that. But what advice do you have for people in terms of their level of ability and, trying to take on things that might not necessarily be in their range right now?
Yeah, so it's a great point. You kind of have to know your ability, know your limitations, and kind of work within that. So, um, things like this, these are great educational things to do. YouTube has a lot of really good videos where you can see kind of how to do some of those minor things. But you should really know if you start tackling things like electrical, plumbing, or even something simple as demolition. People think that, well, this would be a great opportunity to open up that wall or tear up that old flooring from the 60s or 70s that's been bugging me for a long time. But there is another additional kind of safety factor to that, where in these older places we're seeing a lot of things like asbestos. And asbestos is something that shouldn't be messed with. You have to be certified even to take a sample of it. So even just simple things like ripping up some old flooring, like old tile flooring, vinyl tiling. We see asbestos in a lot of things that you maybe even didn't think of. It can be in flooring, it can be in any type of insulation, it can be in plaster, it can be in just so many different things. Electrical fixtures, old housing for electrical fixtures, right? There's so many things that have it in it that you have to know prior to, before demoing that it does it or does it not have asbestos. So having a certified person take a sample and get it tested doesn't cost very much, but at least when it comes to other things like structure, maybe you want to open up that wall and in the kitchen bring some more light in. You have to know, is that wall load bearing? Can I take this wall out? Do I need some additional support? And if I do, you're probably going to need an engineer's stamp or of approval on that prior to actually removing that wall, because the last thing you want is structure sagging and that kind of thing. So yeah, know your ability, kind of know where your limitations lie, and if you don't know what's behind that wall or what that wall is composed of, ask a professional, reach out.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. I think there's going to be people who right now are, spring just hit. Now's the time for people to start thinking about these home improvement projects. So, you know, for those of, we don't know how long, maybe we won't be able to work on our homes or have professionals maybe come into our homes. So there's still an opportunity to continue with planning though, right?
Mhm.
So, why is it a good time right now, people being at home, maybe instead of starting to rip into that wall or start to change around, too much? When is it good to just know to stop and maybe wait and plan?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is you can get encouraged, you can get, you know, inspired to start doing some of these projects, but it's a great point. Getting some planning done, or maybe this is the time where you're spending a lot more time in the house. You're starting to see certain inefficiencies because maybe that project is bigger than you even thought originally. But when you're all locked down in your house together, maybe it's time to start thinking about, do I need an addition? Do I need some extra room? Do I need that basement development done so that I can, have some more usable space within my own home currently? So there's a lot of options there, but it's really good to start thinking, making a priority list of things that you would like to see in your house. Start with the needs, then you move into the wants, so you can kind of prioritize that way. But it's never too early to start planning, and this, being stuck kind of limited to your home, it's a great time to start planning.
Yeah, I think really good advice. We're trying to keep this quick and easy for people. We are definitely, we're working on doing more things like this. So, if anyone at home watching right now, if they do have questions about, well, what's good to do while at home, what's good to wait until the pros can help you through it, reach out. We've got Paul, we've got the rest of our team here to help you. We're going to be looking at doing more of this type of thing. What else are we working on right now, Paul?
Yeah, we're looking at, obviously DIY is a huge topic right now, and it's really good for people to know. So we're here to sort of help and facilitate that, and whatever the task is, small or great, at least we can be, some advice or some education on that.
And we're working with some of our construction partners, hopefully to bring everyone a bit of a virtual home show right now.
Mhm.
So stay tuned for that. Thanks, Paul McGavigan. We'll be back soon.